What's up guys, my name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. So I'm going to be showing you how to actually breed villagers in this video. So obviously the first step what you want to do is you want to find an NPC village. This can be any village, it doesn't really matter. As you can see, the closest one which I've actually located is this desert village. Now I've already taken the liberty of actually creating an example build of this. I am going to remake it obviously, and I didn't actually make this build blend in with a village, so it does look pretty out of place. I'm sure that you could just use sandstone blocks or whatever blends into the surroundings, but I'm just going to be using wood just for the purpose of this video, because for the majority of villages most of the buildings are actually made out of wood, minus the sandstone ones in the desert of course. So if you want to actually breed villagers, there's some pretty simple, easy steps to do so. But I'm going to be explaining the differences between creative mode and survival mode. So first what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build the house. The reason why you need to find the village though to do this is because if you're in survival mode, there's no way of actually getting any spawn eggs to even obtain the villagers. So you're going to obviously find the villagers inside the village itself and then transport them into the new building that you're making. Now if you're using that method of finding the villagers in a village and then transporting them, the best way is to actually build it on flat. So it would have been best for me to build it here where most of the ground is at this height. That's because when you obviously transport all the villagers, it's going to be pretty tough if you want to bring them up some steps or a slope. Another thing is also, you can also make a little bit of a hole at the start, obviously just to transport them into. So I'm not going to create any doors or finish any entrances on this thing because I want to keep the height of the floor at the same height as the ground outside. The reason for this is when we actually transport them using our method in a few moments, it will actually allow all the villagers to come through without having the stress of making them climb ramps or stairs. When we're playing Skyblock, it was especially annoying to actually make them go up steps and stairs, so that can be a little bit of an issue. Obviously Minecraft doesn't let you put leashes, aka leads, on villagers, so you can't just fly around with them like you can with the mobs like iron golems for an example. So you have to do it the hard way when you're actually transporting them, which can be a little bit annoying. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a small wooden box. This is very simple, it doesn't have to look good whatsoever. The actual purpose for making this is just to have kind of like a hub to actually breed them in and have a space for all of them to be inside. It doesn't matter really how big you make this, you can make it as big as you want to. I think for the most part you can just make it as big as you like, or depending on how many villages you want to actually breed, but you will actually need more beds the bigger you make it and the more villagers that you actually require. Now this isn't obviously an auto villager farm, this is just the method of actually breeding them. This is the most simple process to do in survival mode. If you want to make like a proper village farm, then there are obviously tutorials to make grinders out there, but this is just the basic form. So I'm going to make an entrance where doors usually would be, but I'm going to leave it one block extra wide just so it's really easy to transport them in here, just as an example. Then I'm going to make this block a little bit higher to make a roof. I am going to put glass here for the windows and the roof and just go around, and then I'm going to fill the middle in with glass. Now what we're going to need here is we're going to have to finish the roof of glass. This isn't required, you don't need to put glass in there, but one thing you do need to do is put torches inside, which we'll do in a moment. The reason you want to put the torches in there is so monsters don't actually spawn at nighttime, because one big huge problem you're going to have is when it gets nighttime, obviously it's getting darker now, you will have the threat of monsters spawning in there and killing all of the villagers and basically just ruining the whole process if you don't actually light it up. So you're going to have to put a lot of torches down. For me personally, I don't really care how it looks, so I'm just going to put torches down every few blocks, because even if it doesn't look great, that just means that no monsters will spawn. So I'm just going to put loads of torches down. You can just put enough down so that they don't spawn but it doesn't look horrible, but this is just an example. So we've got adequate lighting in here, so nothing's going to really be a problem in here. So after we've done that, what you want to do is you want to make enough beds, but you need to make enough beds not only for the 2 villagers that you're going to first breed, but also for any of the villagers after that. For an example, the baby villager will actually need to sleep in a place before it grows up as well. So we're going to make the standard 2 beds, then you can make at least a third one. We can even put 4 in a row for an example, and then you can do the same somewhere else. So we could also put 4 along here and maybe 2 along here. If you put down a lot of beds, basically the process is going to be a lot easier, but let there actually be a little bit of walking room in between, because otherwise it's going to be really hard. And also don't flood it with villagers instantly, because most of them will just jump in the bed straight away and you won't be able to actually start the process. Now what I'm going to show you is actually in survival mode how to transport them, because since we can't use leads, what you need to do is you need to actually make a boat. So I'm just going to get a basic oak boat, and it's nighttime so the zombies are attacking, which is going to make this a little bit harder. Oh damn, there's actually a cat spawned here. Okay, maybe I'll do something with that later. So what you would do is you'd place the boat down, and most of the time they'll just automatically get in. Now, you'll think, oh, the village is in the boat, so what do you do next? Do I push it? Well, no, because I'm not sure what patch they did this, but they made it so 2 people can actually row a boat now. So what you can do is you can basically row around, and even though it's on land, where it's entirely unrealistic, we can actually row with the villager inside the boat. So what you would do is, I don't know if this is going to work rowing around this one block, but you would row around, try not to fall off, and then you would row right up to the actual building where you want to put the villagers in, and you would actually row them inside like this. Looks pretty stupid, I know, and then he'll just stay there in that boat just temporarily, and then we can come back and break it later. So we'll do the same process here. He might not automatically get in if it's not right in front of him, so you might need to actually give him a bit of a push to get in. And this guy was really close, that was really convenient. So then what I can do is we can make him join the other dude and row him inside here. And you'll see one of them actually has a profession. Usually what I'll do is I'll actually start off with 2 villagers without a profession, just to double check that it works. So that's the process of actually transporting them. Now obviously that's the survival method if you want to know how to transport them. But if we're in creative mode, all you have to do is just type in egg, or if you want to jump to it quicker, villager egg, and as you can see I already had one. We can just spawn 2 villagers in our base, and it will spawn the correct ones in regards to the current biome you're in. So since we're in the desert village in a desert biome, it spawns 2 desert villagers. So if you're in creative mode, you don't need to do the whole process of actually finding a village, because you can just spawn them. This goes for Skyblock too, because in Skyblock sometimes the server actually gives you a spawn egg, so you don't always need to do that. But this is just the method of transporting and finding them in a village in survival mode. So those villagers will go off into the village and do what they want to. We don't really need them right now. And one other method, if you can't find a village, which is a little bit abnormal because they're really easy to find, another thing that you can also do in Skyblock too, if you're not doing this in normal vanilla Minecraft, is actually source a zombie villager. So I'm just going to spawn in creative mode, just because it's a lot easier to do so, but if you're in Skyblock for the most part, you can actually just do this anyway. So you're going to need 3 different things, okay? First you're going to need a potion of weakness, which weakens the zombie so you can actually feed it. And then after that you're going to need a golden apple. So this is how to cure the zombies. And you can see here, I'm just going to spawn some enchanted ones too. So if you find a zombie villager, on Skyblock if you have an auto AFK mob grinder or just a normal mob farm, usually it takes a long time, sometimes even 20 or 30 minutes of farming, you might find instead of a zombie villager might spawn instead. Or you might just find one in a cave, or if you're lucky above ground near a village in survival mode. So either way, another way if you can't find a villager itself is actually, for this method, is to actually get a zombie villager. So we spawned a zombie villager, so he's going to burn, so I'm going to set it to nighttime because I don't want him to die for this method. So hopefully he will get extinguished soon and he won't die. For some reason he's still on fire. Okay, right, he's good. So you would throw the splash potion of weakness down. This is just a normal potion. I need to get a splash potion. Okay, so you would find the zombie villager, splash him, and it looks like he's got the effect. And then you would right click on him with the golden apple. When you right click on him with the golden apple, I'm just going to break this wall just so you can see it because it's kind of not very visible. He's still going to attack people, but if you've done it right, when you use the weakness potion and then use the golden apple on him, he will do this weird shaking effect. So I'm just going to do it again. And it'll make that weird sound, okay? But he'll have some particles here, and this basically starts the process of him getting cured. So I could also do the same in game mode survival. So if we just jump into survival mode, and we spawn a zombie. Okay, that's a kid zombie, we didn't want to spawn that. And he's way too fast. Okay, I think we splashed him. Now we give him an apple. Hopefully he should also get cured too. So that's the process. I'm going to go back into creative because I don't want these guys to mess me around. But that's the process of actually making a villager out of a zombie villager and just theoretically curing them. It does take a while for them to actually transform back, But if you don't really have a normal villager, that is also another method which you can actually do so to obtain one. So we've gone through the different methods, survival and creative, to actually get a villager for this process. After you've done that, you want to build this, what we've done, and another villager's crawled inside here. We didn't actually want him to come in, but I guess there's nothing wrong with having 3 people. The only difference is we don't actually need 3 to breed with. So you're probably wondering, how do we actually block the villagers in here? So one way to actually block them in, because they'll always walk outside, which gets extremely frustrating, is you can make a multi-led system. So you can make doors if you want to, you don't need to. So we're going to make kind of like a little bit of a hallway here as it leads out. I'm only going to do this now that I've already got the villagers. Don't do this at the start, otherwise you might have trouble actually getting them inside the building. So I'm going to make a little thing here, like just a little hallway or corridor. And at the front of the corridor, I'm going to put 2 fence gates. Now the reason why people use fence gates is because villagers can't open and close fence gates. They can open and close doors only. So we can put 2 doors here at the start, and then we can put like 1 or 2 layers, or maybe even 3 layers if you're really paranoid, of fence gates, and then it'll make them trapped inside and they won't come out and ruin the whole process. So that's how to build it, and how to build kind of like a system to filter them and keep them inside. Then now, what we can do is we can just destroy these 2 boats that we had, because they're trapped inside now and there's no way out, so they're going to have a pretty bad lifestyle while they're stuck inside here, but we can't really help that. Now we've led them inside and basically trapped them. There's 1 more than we need, but it doesn't really matter. So we can actually get the food. So in order to actually breed the villagers, there's a specific amount of the different foods which you're actually going to require. So the first one is bread. So if we just search bread, it's 3 pieces of bread to actually breed a villager. So I'm going to get 3 stacks of 3, just for each villager. And then carrots is the next one, and for carrots you need 12 carrots to breed with villagers. So just get 12 carrots, and we'll make 2 stacks of those as well. We only actually need 2 of these villagers to breed, so we'll just ignore the other one and hope that he doesn't steal all of the items and pick them up. And then potatoes as well, which is exactly the same process. I'm just going to spawn 2 stacks of them all just to actually explain it. I'm not sure if you need specifically 12, or if you drop 13, maybe it'll still work as well. But you do need 12 of each stack, and then also beetroot as well works the same, so we'll just get 12 of those. Now the reason why you're using these specific foods is these are all of the foods which are already available in an NPC village. Okay, so at night time they will naturally just sleep, so you can't do the process. That's why you put in the beds there, so they can actually go to sleep, and so they can refresh and recuperate. So I'm just going to set the time to daytime, just so they don't need to sleep, because that can be annoying, and they'll instantly wake up. So what you want to do is, as you can see, the outside doors are being opened up. You want to drop a stack of beetroot, or any food that you want to use, and the villagers should at some point go and actually pick it up. Now the pathfinding can be quite bad, so they might take a while to actually get it. You can see these guys aren't picking it up so far, but they should pick it up at some point, okay? So let me drop another stack here that's closer. Okay, he picked that one up. Is this guy going to pick this one up? We'll just wait a few moments. That took him like 10 seconds to pick the first stack up. Okay, this guy's picked that up. So now you'll see the breeding process actually starts. So this works like every other animal in the game. You can use wheat for some of the other animals, carrots example. So it works like that, and then you'll see these hearts where it actually starts to take effect. So after this process finishes, after a few seconds, you'll actually get a baby villager. So that's how to breed villagers in the village, and how to make basically a containment system to actually put them in. So now we can wait until this villager gets older if we want to redo the same process, and then we can do the new villager with the 3rd villager from before that we didn't need. So that's how you can just keep rehashing and redoing the process and getting loads of villagers. Now the villager we actually created was just a normal one. It doesn't have a profession, so it's basically useless in terms of making a villager farm, because for the most part in Skyblock and normal survival, the only reason why you'd make a villager farm is to actually have lots of villagers to trade stuff with, so you can switch up items and get emeralds. It's basically useless if we have a normal villager, but one of the ones we brought in was a farmer, so if you want to bring ones in with specific professions and then breed the ones with the professions, then that's more useful and optimal if you're using it to actually get items with it and emeralds with. Now I'm going to just shut these fence gates just so these guys don't get out, and you'll see they're perfectly trapped inside, although I did let this one guy out into the corridor. So that's how to breed villagers in Minecraft. Very simple process. This is a simple tutorial, and I'm sure a lot of people already know this, but with 1.16 coming out in 1 or 2 days, I think it's coming out on the 23rd, so it comes out in 2 days, so a lot of people will be coming back to the game, and a lot of people who are new to survival may not know this. For an example, I didn't know this until only a few months ago, because I didn't play Minecraft for quite a long time until I started making videos for it again, like a year ago or more, so I didn't really know any of the new content in 1.12 and after, so this is something that I learned. So I'm sure there's some people who don't know this already, and some new players who just want to learn. So if it was helpful, like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.